Welcome to Beyond The Chord with me, Cara.
And me, Malba.
Join us each week where we will talk about the ups and downs of being songwriters over the age of 40 and what it's really like juggling motherhood, menopause, and keeping that creative spark alive. As if that wasn't enough, each week we will write a new song together and perform it live on the podcast. So get comfy, grab a cuppa, and let's dive in. Hello.
Hi.
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 Nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
It's been a whole week.
I know. Yeah.
What's been happening? Anything?
Well, I've had a household of sick children
Well, that's not fun.
in kind of domino effect.
Ooh.
Yeah, so, which, to be fair, Cara was in beside me, and we just literally pretty much stayed in bed for like 3 days. I mean, it wasn't very good for her because she was really unwell, but what it did make me realise that when you're wee and you're not well, you can wail. You know, not like a whale, but you can wail.
Yeah.
And really make the sound of how you're feeling. And that really kind of made me think, I mean, not that we would cut about doing that, but, you know, but when are we not allowed to make a sound for how we feel? You know? So, yeah, so that's been pretty much my week.
I think I'm just going to clarify again for any new listeners that have joined us. When you talk about Cara, you talk about your daughter and not me. I didn't
That might actually.
I didn't
That's a good clarification.
sneak up to your house in the middle of the night, climb into bed with you.
And come and cuddle in.
Like, hi.
And watch all the Men in Black movies. No, that wasn't you, no.
That wasn't me.
It's good to watch the Men in Black movies again.
The Men in Black.
Genius.
Galaxy Defenders.
Absolutely. So no, that is my daughter Cara.
Not Caragaha.
Caragaha. Yeah, and then now Hannah's got it. She's really unwell, and Aiden's got it as well. So
Joy.
So yeah. So that's been my week.
Well, I've had.
How's your week been?
My
week's been. I'm sure there was other things happening, to be fair, but I can't quite remember what they are.
I did something out of character this week.
Oh my god, what did you do?
I'm actually ashamed to admit this on the podcast, considering for the last 4 weeks I've been rolling my eyes hard
At me?
at certain woo-woo things you've talked about.
Tables are turning.
Tables are turning, or you're influencing my thought process. You're stealing my
It's
brain.
like a brain worm.
So I was curious one day to find out what's in store for me, a Capricorn. Yes, I am the goat. In 2024, so I googled what's in store for a Capricorn in 2024, and I stumbled upon a YouTube video. I will not name the person who is espousing all of this stuff for copyright reasons. And she basically said, she talked about this thing called a Pluto conjunction, which sounds quite heavy.
I have no idea what that means.
Well, she went on to explain what it was, and basically, in a nutshell, it's the kind of destruction and crumbling of like mechanisms in your life that just fall apart and shatter, and everything you thought to be true becomes an illusion, and it's all stripped back to what it really is, and you then awaken to see what things are for real. For real, like,
For
yeah, you know,
realsies.
for realsies. And she said, Capricorns have been going through this Pluto conjunction since 2008.
What?
That's quite a long
That's
time.
a long time to
And
be
they're still going
in
through
a
it.
conjunction.
In a conjunction. And they're still going through it. Like, they went, 2023 is kind of the year it starts to tail off. And then in 2024, all the things that you really want and that are really important to you personally will come to fruition.
Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun!
Hallelujah. Hallelujah for that Capricorn vision.
I mean, thanks, women. Nice to know that there's a positive outlook for 2024. Let's just see if it comes true.
Of course there is. Of course there is.
So I'll keep you posted on my conjunction.
You better sort that conjunction out.
I'm sure you can get something for it at the pharmacy.
Yeah. Get you a t-shirt. I've been conjuncting since 2008.
Just an arrow. Conjuncture. That way. So yeah, that's been my week.
Wow.
I dabbled in astrology. I still think it's mince, but whatever.
Listen, you take any positives that's coming your way, whether it's coming from astrology, astronomy, or wherever.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, fellow Capricorns out there.
No, well, I need to go and find out what's happening for me.
There you go.
And the old Sagittarius.
What animal's a Sagittarius on the zodiac?
Oh, I don't know.
Do you know what your symbol is? Is
No.
that something we need to find out for next
Come
week?
on now, come on. Come on, I'll forget. I'll forget. I probably should know it.
Okay. Well,
But I don't think it's important in the grand scheme of things.
probably not. But what is important is our unverified menopause moment.
Yes, I've decided I'm calling it a menopause moment. Because I seem to be having quite a lot of them. So today, well, kind of following on from last week's, that the menopause is natural, and it's not a disease, as you've told us.
Yes.
Oh no. Here we are. No. I'm obviously having another menopause moment because I opened my book at the page.
And now you've lost said page.
No, I have lost that page.
You can't make this up.
No, you really can't. Well,
What are we dealing with?
well, here's what you're getting.
That was so aggressive. This is what you're getting.
I'm so annoyed though because I had a really good. I'd
Moment?
opened it at a really fabulous moment.
And you're ending it with.
And I'm ending it with, well, Ayurveda confirms what common sense should tell us, that menopause is supposed to be easy. Nature took everything into account with her perfect plan. However, just as any beautiful, perfectly balanced ecosystem can be damaged by man-made interference, like acid rain or traffic exhaust, your own naturally healthy state can be damaged by years of the wrong food, lack of sleep, and generally unnatural living. Oh no.
That's spooky. That's spooky. That's basically a conjunction.
Is it?
Isn't it?
I don't know what conjunction means.
I just told you. It's
Is that what a
destroying
conjunction
things
is?
and breaking them down
So
into
it is.
building them back up to be how they should be.
Well, the thing that I had, the menopause moment I had, was all about how, our years of maybe not looking after ourselves as well as we could have, stress, lack of sleep, not eating enough nourishing foods, and what it was basically saying was, now is the time to redress that. imbalance, you know. So I suppose it was obviously meant to be. I had a menopause moment menopause moment.
It's astrology coming back to haunt me.
See, told you I'd turn you.
That can be taken many ways. But no, that's a good point. That's a good message, to be a bit more loving, gentle, respectful. And I suppose to get to that point, you really need to know who you are.
Oh God.
Oh, I know. And not just know who you are, but actually like and eventually love who you are.
I think that is I think what we've been talking about and what we will go on to talk about in the coming episodes is that kind of, and sometimes it feels like it is a bit of a quest, and I'm sure many people have heard of oh no, honestly it's so famous. Joseph Campbell.
There we go.
I knew it would come. Joseph Campbell's
sister?
No, it's a really famous book. Yeah. If you know Joseph Campbell, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
It'll come back to me. Let's move
Okay.
on, and it'll take my brain a wee while. The Hero's Journey. Thank you,
There
brain.
you go.
But Joseph Campbell's really famous book. It was so famous that I couldn't remember the title of it. The Hero's Journey. But there is a really fabulous women's version called The Heroine's Journey, and I can't remember the name of the author, but it's on my bookshelf, so I'll maybe come back to that, because The Heroine's Journey is completely different, and it is about this quest for us to love ourselves and accept ourselves, and I think in the kind of years that we are in, it becomes more on how we make a difference in the world. I mean, I'm not sure quite what difference I'm going to make yet, but hopefully it'll be something fabulous. But it is, that time of our lives that it is more about, how can we make a difference. I'm not sure why I started that conversation.
I was just listening.
Why did I start that conversation?
Oh, we're
this
talking
is like
about
podcast gold, isn't it?
comedy gold. Well, I guess it comes back to that whole idea, like how do you truly love yourself? That's
Yeah.
it's not an easy thing to do, and I think as women we find it more difficult than most.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because, I don't know if I agree with that messaging that you're always told to put others first. I'm just not sure that that's true. I think it's a natural thing. I think it's a feminine trait.
I'm not sure either.
Because if you think of like being a mum, for example, it's a natural, like you want to provide, you want to protect, you want to make sure that your kids are safe and happy and cared for.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to turn that back on yourself.
Absolutely. Which I think ties in really well with our theme.
Indeed.
Of this week. And unknowingly, your astrology, just make sure I got that right.
Not astronomy.
It ties in really well with that, because one of the TED Talks that I watch, not as frequently as I would like, but watched it again recently, was Mel Robbins' TED Talk, And she talks about, you know, why we don't get what we want. And in it, she explains about, you know, the odds of you, Karagaha, being born at the time you were born, to the parents that you were born, in the whatever, I was going to say unicorns, but you're not, you're a goat.
I'm a total goat.
Is they crunched the numbers, and it's 1 in 400 trillion, the odds of you being born at that time in the country, to the parents, you know. And I think it just kind of puts in perspective how special we all are, and how unique we all are, and how, you know, if you're 1 in 400 trillion, you've got stuff to do.
Yeah.
And you've got stuff to do to help make a difference in the world. And it was such a good reminder, you know, when we get bogged down in our, you know, the minutiae of internal drama.
Yeah.
You know, that actually you need to get up and get on with it. And I think being over 40, it becomes much more prevalent in your mind that, you know, for me, feeling like I'm going into the second half of my life, it has to have more meaning. And I think it also is, you know, what you're saying about, we do have to strip everything back, and maybe that's part of what menopause is as well, is like stripping out all the, you know, all the crap that we tell ourselves how we should look, how we should act, who we should be, and strip it all down to the bare bones so that we can find out what's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. There was something that I saw online. I have seen this before, and it was about this group of women who were doing a business degree, and they were doing a presentation in front of their lecturer, and every single time they used I can't remember, tentative language, the lecturer would stop them. So every time they would say something like, you know, I just want to say, or if you have a moment, can I, you know,
I'm sorry to bother you.
Sorry to
I
bother
do that
you.
all the time.
Yeah. Every time they did anything like that, she would stop them and tell them not to use that language and start again. So eventually they would say, I am here today to present to you blah 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 blah. So it was that shift of going, I don't want to encroach, I'm really sorry if, you know, I'm just kind of, I'm here and I want to talk to you, but, you know, if that's okay with you, to more of a, hello, I'm here as much as you're here, and I'm going to have a conversation with you, and then we'll go our separate ways. And there's no like weird power shift.
Yeah,
you know?
and not apologising.
Not apologising for
being a human
existing.
being.
Yeah. I just thought that was really interesting, and that's something that we do without thinking, and I've completely forgotten why I've used that as an example. There you go. Tangent. There is a point in there, I'm sure.
Like, I'm sure you could, I was going to say write in, but that's like, that's from the 80s. You could write in to our post.
Well, you could email us.
Well, yeah, you could email us.
Beyond the Chord at gmail.com.
Right, well, that's like a technical form of writing.
Yes.
Although, like, if you did want to post something, I'm sure we could figure out the post box.
Or you could just leave us a comment on Instagram, like most normal people.
Much easier.
But yeah,
I think I think we are now at the time where, you know, No more messing.
No more messing.
Or apologising for who we are. But and I'm a great believer in it's as easy or as hard as you say it is. But you're also coming up against decades of conditioning and learned behaviour. So it's how you unlearn that, and maybe that's what the conjunction's all about.
Maybe.
I wonder if we've all been going through a conjunction, or if it's just been.
I would say externally, the world
world
has been
is
going
in
through a
conjunction.
conjunction since 2008. I mean, it's not been an easy,
No.
however many years that's been. I should be able to do that arithmetic. Hang on.
15.
There we go. 15.
Quite impressed with myself.
Well
I was
done.
like, 3 take away. 8 minus. Anyway.
It has been a strange 15 years. Lots has happened, historically lots has happened in 15 years.
Yeah. Can't remember what I was doing in 2008, to be fair, but I can barely remember what I was doing yesterday. So.
Or 5 minutes ago.
Or why we started this conversation.
So on to our question of the week.
Oh, what's our question of the week?
How can we show ourselves more self-love or kindness to ourselves? Which doesn't mean just, going for a nice bubble bath now and again.
Well, to be fair, that doesn't do it for me.
No, I get cold.
Chair squeaks.
I get really cold in the bath.
Well, I'm liking this idea of, although it totally backfired.
Well, opening a book in random page, which just totally didn't
totally
work.
backfired in the menopause moments. But here's a cracking. The Spice Girls may think they invented girl power, but the truth starts and ends with the bee. Making its first appearance almost 120 million years ago, the bee had female empowerment tied up quicker than you can say evolution. So,
is that an answer to the question?
just saying, be more bee.
Be more bee. So that's how you would show yourself more love. To
Be more bee. Well, maybe we could have a bee
to
more
make honey.
Be more bee bit. Be more bee bit.
This is getting weird.
No.
This is weirder than normal.
Oh, well, here we go.
Oh.
Be more bee.
Be more bee.
Once you've identified what makes your heart sing,
well,
share the love. Like a bee showering pollen over the neighbouring flowers, you can do the same by sharing your hopes and dreams with others and encouraging them to talk about the things they love.
this is just getting freaky now, because that's more or less what Cosmos Woman was saying for.
Well, when we focus on the
2024.
things we enjoy doing, it lifts our spirits and helps to spread positive vibes.
And that's what we're doing with this podcast.
It totally is. God.
That's my answer to the question. Do a podcast.
Do a podcast. Or, well, do
Find that thing.
what lights your. I was going to say lights your boat, but then you just have a burning boat, and that would not be good. Right, okay, so that's your answer to
Is to
how
find,
you love yourself more.
Well, think about.
Or is this our practical tip?
Well, yeah, think about when you were a kid.
Mm-hmm.
There was always something that would make you just deliriously happy. So whether it was drawing or running or playing with your friends or watching cartoons or making cakes or making a mess, like whatever it was, stealing other people's lunch, whatever, find something that makes you as happy as that.
And I think that comes back to actually just finding the joy with no outcome.
Yeah, doing it just for the joy itself.
And I don't think we're very good at that.
I think we're getting better.
Well, we are, because we're doing this.
This has given us the opportunity to each week dedicate that time to doing the things that make you happy.
And it's non-negotiable. And I think that's, that would be my tip. What can you give yourself that's non-negotiable? Because I was thinking about it today actually, and I was going, okay, how do it's the I can't think of the word, the disconnect. Oh God, the disconnect between really wanting to play the piano and the guitar, and I mean play it, not like practice, and still seeing it as something that you have to practice rather than doing it for the fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like how do you again, I've lost the word. How do you detach the playing part from the practicing part? Because what frustrates me is that by not practicing or playing, I'm not ever going to get any better at what I do.
Right.
So how can you just say to your brain, okay, it's not practice, it's play.
Yeah. Well, that just comes from just physically being at your instrument. Do you know what's funny? So I'm on Threads at the moment.
Oh.
Which is what Facebook guy, what's his name? The Facebook guy. His version of Twitter.
Right.
It's a lovely place to be right now because it's still fairly small and everyone's still quite nice to each other. And from what I've discovered, it's mostly musicians and artists. Like, it's basically a really big private Facebook group for musicians. And it's a lovely place to be, and people talk about this sort of stuff. So I put up a question about, when you're writing a song and you get to your second verse, I find that the most frustrating bit to write, because you don't want it to be the same as the verse one, but you're not quite at the bridge or the last chorus yet, and it still needs to expand the story of the song and deliver the message and sound slightly different. And I find that the most difficult part to write of the song, to keep it interesting. And this became like a whole conversation, and some people are like, yes, I totally know what you mean, like it's so frustrating. And other people were like, oh, I like this bit because it gives you the opportunity to play. It gives you, and to try different instruments, or maybe try a different melody, or extend a line, or do like mess around with all the different techniques and stuff like that. And I thought, that's true. It's just the point when you're in the writing process, it's just that point where you can play, but you're physically at it, like with the song, sitting with it and listening to where it can go. And you could apply that to any instrument that you want to get better at. You can just sit with it and play and just tune into where it's taking you.
Yeah.
And then before you know it, you'll start to feel more joy and more positive towards it. And then technically, there are technical things that won't seem like a chore.
Yeah, and I think for me, it's that it has to be consistency of play. And I think it's interesting you're talking about the second verse, because what I find sometimes is what I think is the first verse is actually the second verse.
Yeah.
And then you go, that's the second verse. And that's how sometimes I go, oh, okay, you thought that was the start of the story, but if you actually, again, God, we are good, if you dig a bit deeper, actually, if you go back a bit further, that story might just be a repeat of a story that you had many years ago,
Yeah.
So I think my tip would be, and for me, an important part of that is actually when you are having fun and playing, is to go, this is what play is. Actually acknowledging that I actually like doing this, rather than feeling like, I've got to do this and it's got to be a perfect song and it's got to, have this, and this in it, and what is it I'm trying to say, and, all those kind of ways that your lovely brain says you're not good enough, you know.
See, playing is in and of itself self-love.
Oh, that's deep.
That's deep. There you go. I think playing might be our theme for the song of the week.
Song of the week.
Song of the week. Still didn't do those theme tunes.
No, I know.
That'll be season 2.
But I quite like the fact that we do a different one. Well, I don't. I do the Addams Family. But I think, you know, it's that recognition that, not that when you're a kid you don't go, oh, this is me playing. But yeah, I definitely think that should be your...
It's like serving your inner child.
Yes. And she is in there.
Well, she never went away.
She might be buried quite deep, right enough. But get her out. Get her out and play.
Take from that what you will.
You're filthy today.
Filthy.
Filthy dirty.
And this week, our song of the week is called Games. On pillars of salt and grains of golden sand, you brought my castle down. You watched me crumble, let thunder rumble, and you struck me when I was down. I got back up on my own 2 feet. The scales fell from my eyes. I saw the truth, folly of youth, the big bad wolf in disguise. All I wanna do is slay the demons who stand in my way. And all I wanna do is play to win. So let the games begin. Tables are turned 180 degrees. There's no way out from your lies. Got you surrounded, finally grounded. The victory is mine. But all I wanna do is raise them up before it all comes crashing down, crashing down. I wanna slay the demons who stand in my way. And all I wanna do is play to win. So let the games begin.
That's it for this week's episode of Beyond the Chord. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did making it. And join us next week for more chat and tunes. And in the meantime, if you want to send us your thoughts, you can follow us on Instagram at Beyond the Chord. We would love to hear from you. Until next time.